as a result of something something ing is たところ, and that ta is of course the negative short form past tense of a verb. So, as a result of doing whatever this verb is, some result occurs. Whatever is x comes before the tokoro, so x verb short past tense tokoro. So as a result of doing that thing, y, some other thing happens. It's somewhat of a written form, I'd say, but one important thing to point out is that the y, the part that comes after tokoro, is always going to be in the past tense. And it's generally not something that you do, it's something that's sort of out of your control. It's happened to you. That's one thing to keep in mind with what comes after tokoro. So for example, we have this example sentence. It's 久しぶりに散歩をしたところ、歩きすぎて足が痛くなった。So as a result of going for a walk for the first time in a long time, I walked too much and my legs hurt. So you may think here the 歩きすぎて, which is walked too much, is a volitional action. So why would it come here? Well, the main part of this second part is actually just 足が痛くなった. So I can't control whether or not my legs hurt. I mean, I guess I could if I didn't walk, but that part isn't volitional, and that's the main verb in the part that comes after tokoro. So this is okay. Your legs became hurt. But breaking it down, it's 久しぶりに. So for the first time in a long time, that's what 久しぶりに means. 散歩をしたところ. So that's as a result of going for a walk. For the first time in a long time. 歩きすぎて, I walked too much, and, because that's the te form, and 足が, so my legs, 痛くなった, they became hurt. Remember, we say some things become hurt in Japanese. We don't just say they hurt now. So my legs became hurt. So 足が痛くなった. As a result of going for a walk for the first time in a long time, I walked too much and my legs hurt. The next one is おすすめされたアニメを見てみたところ、大ファンになった. So as a result of watching an anime that was recommended to me, I became a huge fan. おすすめされた. So された, of course, is it was done to you. So it's just suru, but the done to you part. So おすすめされた, so was recommended to me. アニメを, so anime is its direct object of 見てみた. So I tried to watch the anime that was recommended to me, tokoro. So as a result of watching the anime that was recommended to me, 大ファン. 大ファン is a huge fan. になった. I became a huge fan. And that's not a volitional. You didn't become a big fan. You just became a big fan. As a result of watching the anime it was recommended to you. 鉄のサプリメントを飲み続けたところ、貧血が良くなった. So as a result of continuing to take iron supplements, my anemia became better. So 鉄のサプリメント. So サプリメント is just what you'd expect. It's supplements. 鉄 is iron. So iron supplements. Well, that's the direct object. 飲み続けたところ. So as a result of continuing to drink iron supplements. So when you take a supplement or a pill or something, in Japanese we say you drink it. Even though it's usually a pill. In English, I think we'd just say you take it. You take the pill. But in Japanese, you drink it. And this is continuing to drink iron supplements. 貧血 is anemia, and it's a very common word. It just means a low red blood cell count. が良くなった. It became better. アレルギーテストを受けたところ、グルテンにアレルギーがあることが分かった. So as a result of taking an allergy test, I found out that I have an allergy to gluten. Thank goodness that's not true. So アレルギーテスト. So that's an allergy test. Well, that's a direct object of 受けたところ. So I took a test. You can use 受ける for not just allergy tests, but regular tests too, like the JLPT or any kind of test at school. When you take a test, it's 受ける. We use 受ける. So 受けたところ. So as a result of taking an allergy test, what did I find out? グルテンに, so in the direction of gluten, アレルギーがある. So I have an allergy in the direction of gluten. That's how we say we have an allergy to something. We use the ni particle and to mark the thing that we're allergic to. ことが分かった. So I realized the fact, or I understood the fact that I have an allergy to gluten. All right, this is a very long sentence, but this is sort of a common situation that Quartet mentions that the ta tokoro grammar point is used in, and that's for things like surveys, and in written language when you're reporting the results of the survey, you say what the survey was about, tatokoro, and then the result of that survey. So that's a very common way of using this tatokoro. So we have one example sentence like that. So let's check it out. We have 日本に住んでいる外国人に日本に来てから驚いたことは何ですかと質問したところ、1万人がファックスをまだ使っていることと答えた。So as a result of asking foreigners living in Japan the question, what surprised you after coming to Japan? 10,000 people answered the fact that they are still using fax machines. So let's break this one down. We have 日本に, so in the direction of Japan, 住んでいる外国人, so foreigners who are living in Japan, に日本に来てから. So this is the question in quotes here. So in the direction of those foreigners living in Japan, they ask this question. 日本に来てから. So since coming to Japan, 日本に来てから。驚いたこと. So a thing that surprised you. 驚いたことは, that's the topic. 何ですか? What is something that surprised you since coming to Japan? と質問したところ. So as a result of asking this question, 1万人, so 10,000 people が, they're the subject, this is their answer. Fax, and fax is written in English in all caps. That's how it's written in Japanese. It's written using English letters. をまだ, so still, 使っていること, so still using, the fact that they're still using fax, と答えた, they responded. So as a result of asking foreigners living in Japan the question, what surprised you after coming to Japan? 10,000 people answered the fact that they're still using fax machines. Surprises all of us. All right, that brings us to our dialogue. So we're going to get Yuki over here. This is the final section of the story that was supposed to finish in 2 lessons, but has spanned across 6 long lessons. I will be trying to get up this entire story in just a single section on the website for those of you who are members over there so that you can read it yourself to sort of find out what happened throughout the whole story on your own. So let's go ahead and jump into it.
はい。急にスマホが鳴った。後輩からだった。大変ですよ、先輩。聞きましたか？何を？会社が燃えてしまいましたよ。そして今朝のニュースで見ましたが、社長が脱税で捕まって会社が潰れてしまうそうですよ。どうしよう。と心配そうに後輩が連絡してきた。慌てて会社に電話して聞いてみたところ、後輩のニュースは本当だと分かった。小さい笑みがこみ上げてきた。会社が倒産したということは、俺はまた一からスタートできる。
Alright, let's break it down.
急にスマホが鳴った。後輩からだった。大変ですよ、先輩。聞きましたか？何を？
Alright, so breaking it down, we have suddenly my phone rang. It was from my junior. It's terrible. Did you hear, senior? Huh? Hear what? So breaking it down, it's 急に, so suddenly. スマホが鳴った. So smartphones ring, they 鳴った, right? We use it looks like a little bird kanji, but it's also got a voice next to it, and that's to make a sound. So スマホが鳴った. So my smartphone rang. 後輩からだった. So it was from my junior, as in someone below me in my company. So it was from someone below me in my company, or it could be in a school or something, but we know this is the company from earlier in the story. 大変ですよ. It's terrible. 大変ですよ. Senpai. So that's senior, the person above me. That's how people refer to their seniors and juniors sometimes within companies. 聞きましたか? Did you hear? Huh? 何を? Hear what?
会社が燃えてしまいましたよ。そして今朝のニュースで見ましたが、社長が脱税で捕まって会社が潰れてしまうそうですよ。どうしようと心配そうに後輩が連絡してきた。
The company burned down, man. And then I watched the news this morning and it appears that the company president was arrested for tax evasion and the company will go out of business. What are we going to do? My worried sounding junior reported. So breaking this one down, it's entirely a quote until the very end. It's 会社が, so that's the company, is the subject. 燃えてしまいました. So it completely burned down. 燃えてしまいましたよ。そして, and then, 今朝のニュースで, so on the news this morning, 見ましたが, I saw, but 社長 is the company president, が, and he's the subject, 脱税で捕まって, so 脱税 is tax evasion. So via tax evasion, he was caught. 捕まってね。And 会社が, so the company, it's the subject, 潰れてしまうそう. So it appears that, that's そうです。The company is going to go bankrupt or go out of business. 潰れてしまうそうですよ. So that ですよ is a, added new information for the listener. どうしよう? What are we going to do? と、心配そうに. So the と is the quotation と, and he said it sounding worried. 心配そうに後輩, the 後輩 is the person that's talking, が連絡してきた. He reported to me this stuff sounding concerned or worried.
慌てて会社に電話して聞いてみたところ、後輩のニュースは本当だと分かった。小さい笑みがこみ上げてきた。会社が倒産したということは、俺はまた一からスタートできる。
When I rushed to call the company and ask, I found that the news from my junior was true. A small smile overcame me. The fact that my company went bankrupt means I can start from one again. This guy had a rough couple months, man. So anyway, breaking it down, it's 慌てて means to rush. 慌てて会社に in the direction of my company. 電話して I called them and 聞いてみた. So I asked, or as a result of asking when I called the company, 後輩のニュース. So the news from my junior は that's the topic, but mostly emphasizing this part. 本当だと分かった. I understood that it was the truth. 小さい笑み, so small smile がこみ上げてきた. It came over me. So a small smile came over me. 会社が倒産した. So 倒産する is name one word that means to go bankrupt. So 会社が倒産したということは So the fact that my company went bankrupt means 俺は So as for me また一から So again from one スタートできる I can start. So I can start again from one. Question time for this section is
〇〇をしてみたをしたところ、あなたの体の何が変わりましたか?
So, as a result of doing or trying to do something, so trying to do something would be してみたところ and something you just did. You did it. したみたところ. So, depending on, that's the nuance there.
したところね。
したところ would be the nuance of you just did it. あなたの体の何かが変わりました. So, what changed in your body as a result of doing something? For example,
お酢を飲み続けたところ、血液がサラサラになりました。
So as a result of continuing to drink vinegar, 血液が, so my blood がサラサラになりました. My blood became smoother.
プロテインを多く食べてみたところ、筋肉痛が早く治った。
So here we had 続けた. I just did it. I continue to drink iron. Here is 食べてみた. So I tried to eat more protein or a lot of protein. So プロテインを Protein is the direct object of 多く食べてみたところ. So as a result of eating more or trying to eat more protein, 筋肉痛 is, I guess it's DOMS. I actually had to look that up recently because I only knew the Japanese for this. But it's a delayed onset muscle soreness. Yeah, that's it. 筋肉痛が早く治った. So it healed quickly. So what about you guys? What is something that you tried to do? And then as a result of that, what changed about your body in some way? Did you heal faster, or you lost weight, or you grew taller, or your hair grew longer? Who knows? Anything is possible. Although with monono, to use monono, it's pretty straightforward. You just attach it to a short form of a verb, any short form. An e adjective on its own, monono. Nodjectives take na or de aru before monono, and nouns take de aru before after them and before mono. No. So monono is very similar to keredo or kedo and ga, the but or although. It's very, very similar, except for a few small differences. And that is what comes after monono is generally always a fact. And it's not always negative, but it often expresses that the speaker or the writer feels some regret about that thing. Not all the time, but often. The most important part, though, is that it's a fact that is sort of unexpected considering what comes before monono. So if you're just you're talking about like a chain of events, which you can use kedo and ga for, you can put them in between the two different events without a problem with ga and kedo. But you cannot do that with monono. So that's a big difference between those. Also, monono is much more of a written literary form than kedo and ga. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So, our first one is a verb. We have 日本人に生まれたものの日本語を理解することは難しい。So, although I was born Japanese, it is difficult to understand Japanese. So, this is probably meaning in like a more the whys of Japanese, not necessarily understanding when people are speaking to you. So anyway, 日本人に, so in the direction of a Japanese person, 生まれたものの, so although I was born Japanese, 日本語 is the direct object of 理解すること. So the thing which is understanding Japanese は emphasizing what comes next here is what this wa is doing. 難しい. It's difficult to understand Japanese. Our next one is その川はとても綺麗なものの水は信じられないくらい冷たいです。So we have a negative verb here. It's 信じられない. I'm sorry. No, it's not. It's 綺麗. It's a na adjective before mono. So we need na or de aru before the mono no, but we've gone with na here. So その川, that river, wa. It's a direct, that's the marking it as the topic and emphasizing this. とても綺麗なものの. So it's very beautiful, but, or although this river is very beautiful. 水は, the water is 信じられないくらい. So to the extent that you wouldn't believe it, 冷たいです. It's super cold. It's so cold. So, right? It's not just a chain of events. This is sort of, even though it's really pretty, you should probably be careful. You don't want to go in there because it's super cold. You might not expect that, but it's super cold. Elden Ring はすごく難しそうであるものの、今一番人気のゲームです。So although Elden Ring appears to be super difficult, it is the most popular game right now. So this is another non-adjective sort of. We've taken 難しい, which is an e adjective, and it says seems to be. We've given it the seems to be so attached to it, which is dropped the e and had so. So that sort of turns it into a non-adjective. We treat so itself as a non-adjective. So you could use na or de aru here. We've gone with de aru for the sentence. So Elden Ring は, that's the topic. すごく難しそうであるものの. So although Elden Ring appears to be very difficult, 今, right now, 一番人気のゲームです. It is the most popular game right now. Although that might be Lost Ark, I'm not sure. But it's Elden Ring for a couple weeks there was the most popular game for sure. 梅干しはとても酸っぱいものの、なぜか食べたくなる味です. So although pickled plums are very sour, for some reason they're a flavor you want to eat. So, 梅干し is pickled plums. Little red pickled plums はとても酸っぱいものの. So, although pickled plums are very sour. Sour is an N2 word, 酸っぱい. And it's an E adjective, so you don't need anything between it and ものの. なぜか, for some reason. 食べたくなる, become want to eat 味です. They have a flavor that you become want to eat. All right, which is maybe not expected considering how sour they are. All right, our next one is a noun. We have 最近は日差しが暖かくなって春を感じられる天気であるものの、桜はまだ咲きません. So although recently the sunshine is warm and the weather feels like spring, the cherry blossoms still don't bloom. And they have not bloomed here yet in Nagano. They look like they have no intentions of blooming anytime soon, although it's around now when they're supposed to start. But it looks like we've got a couple weeks ahead of us before that's going to happen. Anyway, 最近 is recently. That's the topic and emphasizing what comes next. 日差しが, so 日差し is sunshine or sun rays. が, or yeah, the feeling of the sun. が, that's a subject. 暖かくて, you could do it either way. 暖かくて, 春. It's warm and 春, so spring を感じられる. It feels like, or you can feel it's like spring. 天気, so the weather. This is talking about the weather. So the weather is such that it feels like spring. であるものの. So although recently the sunlight is warm and the weather feels like spring, 桜は, sakura is cherry blossoms, that's the topic. まだ, still, 咲きません. They still don't bloom. And that brings us to our story. So let's get Yuki back over here.
3ヶ月後、会社が倒産したのは俺のせいなんかじゃなかったから、もちろん失業保険をもらえた。そしてゆっくり新しい仕事を探すことができて、3つの会社から内定をもらった。その中の興味があった グラフィックデザイナーの仕事に就いた。給料も月42万円になった。新しい仕事はすごく楽しい仕事で、毎日精一杯頑張っている。素敵な彼女もできて、来年結婚しようかな、とも考えているところだ。あれからも、茜神社によく通っているものの、いつもの大きい立派な赤い鳥居しか立っていない。おしまい。
We finished it! Oh my god, I can't believe it. It's been so long. All right, let's break it down.
はい。3ヶ月後、倒産したのが
なぜか破産になった。That's fine. Anyway, this should be 倒産。
会社が倒産したのは俺のせいなんかじゃなかったから、もちろん失業保険をもらえた。そしてゆっくり新しい仕事を探すことができて、3つの会社から内定をもらった。その中の興味があったグラフィックデザイナーの仕事に就いた。
3 months later, it wasn't my fault that the company went bankrupt, so of course I received unemployment insurance money. And then I was able to leisurely search for work, and I received official offers from 3 companies. I took the graphic design work that I was interested in among those. So breaking this one down, it's 3ヶ月後, so 3 months later. 会社が, so the company is the subject. 倒産した, so don't ignore that. 倒産した, so no は, so the thing which was my company going bankrupt. 俺のせいなんか, 俺のせい is my fault. なんか, and this なんか is sort of, it's saying something like, or it's really just emphasizing that this is absurd, that it would be my fault. 俺のせいなんかじゃなかったから. So it wasn't my fault, of course. That なんか is the this part. My fault. That feeling, right? Of course. から、もちろん, of course. 失業保険. 失業保険 is unemployment insurance, and he's implying the money. をもらえた. I received the money from 失業保険. はい、sorry. そして, and then, ゆっくり, slowly or comfortably, or relaxed. 新しい仕事, so new work, を探すことができて, so I was able to search for work relaxedly or slowly, and 3つの会社から, so from 3 companies, 内定をもらった. 内定 is an offer, an official offer from a company for work. をもらった。その中の, so among those, 興味があった, so I had interest in, グラフィックデザイナー, so graphic designer の仕事に就いた. So I took the graphic designer work that I was interested in from among those.
給料も月42万円になった。新しい仕事はすごく楽しい仕事で、毎日精一杯頑張っている。素敵な彼女もできて、来年結婚しようかな、とも考えているところだ。
The salary also became 420,000 yen per month. As for this new work, it's super enjoyable work, and I'm doing my best to work hard every day. It's a lot of works. I even got an amazing girlfriend, and I'm also at the point where I'm thinking, I wonder if I should get married next year. That's where the point he's at. So breaking it down, it's 給料も, so my salary also, 月, so every month, 42万円になった. It became 420,000 yen. Remember before it kept going down because he kept being late for work. He was down to 160,000 yen per month, which is it's probably pretty difficult to live on your own in an apartment in any city in Japan on a salary like that. It's difficult, not impossible, but difficult. But now he's up to 420,000 yen. Congratulations. 新しい仕事. So the new work は, that's the topic emphasizing this part. すごく楽しい仕事で, it's super fun work, and 毎日, every day, 精一杯, doing my best, 頑張っている. So I'm doing my best to work hard every day. 素敵な彼女, so an amazing girlfriend もできて, so I also got an amazing girlfriend, and 来年, next year, 結婚しようかな? I wonder if I'll get married next year. Maybe I'll go ahead and get married next year, is what he's saying there. とも, also, 考えているところだ. So this is a different ところだ from the first section. This is the I'm at this point in my life, or I'm at this point in time. So, とも考えているところだ.
あれからも茜神社によく通っているものの、いつもの大きい立派な赤い鳥居しか立っていない。おしまい。
From then too, although I often visited that Akane shrine, there was never anything but that big, beautiful red gate standing there. The end. Breaking it down. あれからも. So from then too, so he's talking about the events from the other 5 parts of the story. excuse me, 茜神社に so in the direction of that 茜神社よく通っているものの so although I am often visiting that 茜 shrine いつも all the time いつもの大きい立派な赤い鳥居 so the red beautiful big gate that is always there いつもが立っている立っていないしか立っていない sorry しか立っていない there's nothing but the big beautiful red gate that is always there. Whew, sorry about that. おしまい is the end. All right, so we finished the story in 6 lessons. That was fun. I'll put that all together in a couple days on the website in the immersion section, and you'll have some nice reading material for N2 level.
ね
Well, I don't know if it's nice. That's up to you guys. I can't determine that, but I enjoyed making it. And I obviously with Yuki's help because I couldn't get all of it right. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump into question time.
あなたの使っている道具や物、乗り物、建物などは adjectives い or なものの良くない部分は何ですか？
So among the things, something you use or a tool you have or, cars you're using or a type of transportation, doesn't matter. Building you go to a lot. You're going to describe it a little bit. So you're going to give us an e adjective or an adjective that describes it a little bit and say, although that, 良くない部分は何ですか? What is something that's bad about it? So although this thing I often use is this, there's also this not so good thing, is what you're going to tell us about. So for example,
新幹線は早いもののチケットの料金が高い。
so although the Shinkansen is fast, 早い, the ticket price, チケットの料金が高い is expensive. Next one is?
コンビニは便利なものの働く環境は良くないそうです。
So although convenience stores are very convenient, the environment, the work environment is apparently not good. So コンビニは, so as for convenience stores, 便利なもの, they are convenient. Although they are convenient, 働く環境, so the work environment. は, that's the topic emphasizing this. 良くないそうです. Apparently, or I hear that. I guess this one is I hear that it's not good. So how about you? Thumbs up を攻撃してください。
はい、お願いしま
Please
す。
smash the thumbs up button. It helps a lot. And also, チャンネル登録お願いします. Please subscribe if you have not already and hit the bell so you know when we go live next time with one of these videos. ありがとうございました. See you everyone. お疲れ様でした. Planning to use these books to learn Japanese in 2022? We explain all the grammar from these books and more here on YouTube in detail. And on TokiniAndy.com, we have tons of extra grammar explanations, interactive practice exercises with Yuki and I, native shadowing exercises so you can get practice speaking even when you're by yourself, tests, and even progress bars to track your progress through the book. We also plan on beginning to add tons of level-appropriate immersion material throughout 2022. We even have a new exclusive community for members where they can ask questions, help each other, and even play silly Japanese word games. Over 1,800 people have already utilized the Tokini Andy and Yuki premium content. Join the community today and kickstart your Japanese learning journey.